All right, so welcome to El Maestro Speaks podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Sci-Space Computer Solutions, your solution to computer problem if you want to use your computer services like encoding, repairing of computers, data retrieval, things like that. You can contact them in their Facebook page, Sci-Space Tech, and you can contact them there and they'll come to you. This is only available in the locality of Mankayan, Benguet, located in the north part of the province of Benguet. And this podcast is all about the things and issues that I heard for the past days. Right now, I'm recording here in my classroom. I'm having a hard time recording because my Droidcam OBS is dropping a lot. It keeps on dropping while recording, and I think this is my fifth time recording already, and I hope uh, that won't happen again. Right now, maybe some of you are asking what I'm using to record my podcast. I'm using the OBS Studio, but I'm recording it, I'm not streaming it. We don't have an internet connection right here in this school, so, and if we have, the connection is slow. In the Philippines, especially in the countryside, we don't have that strong internet connection. And I use my cell phone as a video camera connected to my laptop. And of course, for the sound, I'm using the V8 sound card. And a lot of YouTubers and bloggers are using this for their blogs and for their Facebook live streams. And the sound is good. With actually, this one has a sound effect, and I'm not keen on using sound effects here, so I'm not gonna use them. And of course, mic, Booyah mic. I tried using this one while I'm recording a podcast while driving, and it didn't turn out good. Uh, and so when I do podcasting while driving, I use this headset here. This is my mic, and still, but at least it minimizes the noise, and you can hear my voice. Um, so that's it. I do podcasting because I try to release a podcast episode weekly. I do have podcasts with guests. I mean, I have guests. I want to have guests also in the future. And the thing here is that we use Kankanai language, and we talk about the things that interest me about that person. And I go to their place. I don't have a studio per se, and I go to their place and do those things. The thing right now is that we are quite busy with these modules and things that I cannot travel to places. And so for the meantime, I'm on, my plan is to have, while waiting for time to, or waiting for the chance to be able to get out and find a guest for this podcast. I will be doing podcasts and sharing my opinions to you guys about things I heard and issues that, I mean, shocked on the world, things like that. Okay, so let's start with the first issue right now for this episode is the issue about the Filipino people bashing the candidate, Miss Universe candidate. I don't follow those things, but they came out on the news because of these things, and just want to react on this one. Um, they were bashing this candidate because of the color of the candidate's or the lady's skin, and that is so below human. I mean, I cannot explain. I cannot have a word to describe that thing rather than it is embarrassing. And these are the times wherein you're a little bit ashamed to say you're a Filipino. But anyway, I'm still a Filipino. I'm still proud of my race and just want to castigate this action that happened here. So, what this thing here is there is a culture here in our country, here in the Philippines, wherein Filipinos, uh, how to put it in a better word, Filipinos adore people with white skin. And maybe a lot of people will get angry on me about this one, but a lot of Filipinos adore people with white skin, and they equate having a white skin to being beautiful. And if you don't believe me, just look at some commercials in the TV stations here in the Philippines. A lot of them is about whitening products, right? So a lot of them is about whitening products. And what's the reason for that one? Why is it that so if you have a whitening soap like that, you can sell it here in the Philippines and a lot of people will buy that. And why? What do you think is the reason for that one? Well, the reason for that one is I cannot explain, but the thing here is, I think it's because we were colonized, like Spanish people colonized the Philippines for quite a long time, and uh, Americans after the Spaniards came, and those two nationalities, most of them are white, and they look down on the Filipino. They look down on us during those times and think that they are better because they have white skin. Things like that. And that maybe imprinted something in the mind of the Filipino and in the culture of the Filipino that if you have a white skin, then your status in life is better and you're more beautiful, things like that. And that built up the culture of saying that white is beautiful, that in order to be called beautiful, you need to have a white skin. In order to have a white skin, you have to buy the whitening product, right? That's what's happening here. Whether we admit it or not, it is what's happening here in the Philippines. Look at the billboards when you go to highways in Manila. A lot of the products being sold are whitening products, right? And um, with that, it came the negative attitude of, ridiculing people with black skin. Like they're not. One of the comment that I saw or read in that thing in the news said someone said that she looks like she's not human, and oh my god, I cannot even imagine. I cannot explain the pain that I felt when I read the comment. You know, it's oh, and at the same time, the embarrassment that it brought to us Filipinos when I saw that comment. And I can only say in behalf of all the Filipinos, sorry. I want to say sorry to that lady. That does not represent all of us. We are most of the Filipinos are not like that, though some are like that. And just to give a little bit of background on the topic of racism in the Philippines. Racism is practiced also in the Philippines. We call it the regionalism, wherein if you are from Manila, they think yeah, they're better than people in the countryside, things like that. and they look down on people in the countryside. Um, there's that here in the Philippines. There's that, and uh, if you belong to an indigenous group, an indigenous tribe like an Igorot, they look down on you. Uh, they they have that view that indigenous people have black skin, same thing like that, and that is also being practiced here. It's not just in America that there's a racism. We also have it here, and it's a little bit. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's really not good. But one way of maybe stopping this is when starting it in our house, inculcating it in the minds of young children, also in schools, and teaching them that having black skin really does not matter. What matters is the content of your heart, and that is the only thing that matters, right? And we should stop segregating people, grouping people with their color of skin or place where they came from, their tribe, something like that. You should have your children play in the park, and then let them play with other people from another group, with other people with different skin, and that's where um, that is where the wall of racism will collapse. That is where it will start to collapse, I guess, right? Uh, it's difficult to break this down because I don't know if it's really imprinted in our human mind. I mean, uh, slavery was like 100 years ago in the history of America, but still until now, there are a lot of white people thinking that they are better than black people, and that's absurd. Um, Also, in our place here in the Philippines, just stop buying whitening products just to whiten your skin. Just stop that. I don't have anything against whitening products, but the thing here is there is what you call it, the subconscious thing that it brings that I mean, really, what is the reason why you want to have a white skin? What really is the reason for that one? And subconsciously, you are telling your mind that if you have white skin, then you'll have a better career. If you want to be an actor, you'll have a better number of views if you're a YouTuber, things like that. And just be the color that was given to you, okay? And again, nothing against the whitening products company, just that is the subconscious mission, the what they call that one, the message underneath that it brings when you try to have a whiter skin. Okay, I don't know, but that's just me. That is just my opinion. Okay, and moving on, I also heard this one in television about the gamers, lady gamers, women, uh, trying their luck. I mean, trying their talents in the gaming world. And the thing there's nothing wrong against that one. There's nothing wrong about it. But the thing here is they received a lot of bashing also, again, because of the way they dress. They dress. Some of those things I saw is that there's that dress that has a hole cut out in front, showing their rather healthy bosom, and of course those men thinking with a different head. They're not thinking with their head up rather than they're thinking with the other head below, or giving them comments, messaging them, telling them nasty things because of that one. And when that lady shared her experience to other people, somebody commented, somebody said that it's your fault because of the way you're dressing. And then she said that that is victim blaming. Now, I have an issue about that word victim blaming because it's like it's a way of don't get me wrong, there's victim blaming, it's happening, but it's like you are using it to shed off the sense of responsibility to yourself, right? Like, how can I explain this? Again, I am not saying that I'm not saying that victim blaming is good. It is bad, but at times there's an appropriate way, and there is a, what do you call the one? There's an appropriate way of using this to accuse someone of victim blaming, but there are times that is really what is happening. It's not really what's happening. I mean, how can I explain this? This thing is a little bit difficult to explain, especially that English is not my language, but let me try so hard, very hard. Now, let me just put it this way. You know that a particular street or alley, if that's what you call it in English, is dangerous because there are some robbers there are some muggers that if you pass through that way, you'll get mad or you'll get mugged 100%, you'll get robbed 100%. But still, you pass through that, knowing that information, having that information, you still pass through that way unescorted, without any escort or without someone with you, and without without company, and you have with you your things, and you got robbed, and then somebody told you that you should not pass through that road because you already know that that's gonna happen to you if you pass through that road. Are you going to call that person? Are you going to call the situation a victim blaming? No, maybe it's just reminding you of the foolishness of your action. Sometimes uh, we forget that even our simplest action can elicit a reaction, whether it's good or bad. Simplest action will elicit some reaction, right? And we have to take responsibility of our action. And again, I'm not saying that women should not dress like that. You can dress whatever way you like. What I'm trying to say here is that this word here, it's very easy for us to drop that word victim blaming, right? It's very simple to drop that word without having a reflection on the sense of responsibility that we have for ourselves. That's what I'm trying to say here. That's all. That's all that I'm trying to share here. It's very easy for us to drop the word victim blaming, but sometimes we have to think of the things that we are also doing. The action that we're doing will always have a reaction, and that is good or bad or both. Okay? So we have to be very careful of what we're, especially that social media is like a window to your house, window to you're showing everything to the world. And if you're showing things to the world that is not, I'm not saying again that dressing like that is inappropriate. I mean, if you're showing some sense of carelessness, something like that, like, take a look at this. Uh, one of when I'm having conversations with some past criminals, like pickpocketers, things like that, which is very common here in the Philippines, and they say that when they are trying to pick someone as their victim, they look at those who have a very, very low self awareness. Those who are not aware of what's happening in their environment, those who seems like uh, those who are a little bit careless, things like that. Uh, they they try to look at that, and that's what they're trying to rob. I mean, the lion, when it hunts, will always choose the weakest victim to hunt, something like that. And when you do that, yeah, I mean, when you say, for example, let's go back to that topic of dressing provocatively, and I'm not saying again that that is not good. You can do whatever you like, it's your body, and there's nothing wrong against it, but this is the thing, and this is my opinion. When you dress like that, and you can and you should dress like that, in those, oh, there are 10 guys, and there are 10 guys. I mean, for sure, there's two of that guy who is or who are demented and pervert and will take pounce on that opportunity and will think that they can easily get you because of the way you dress, something like that. And it's like going back to my analogy a while back of going to a um, going to a place, moving on a place, going on a place like even if you already know that that's a dangerous place, it's going on that one is that also in this you can equate this in in martial arts wherein we have what we're calling this self-defense, right, where you try to train yourself to uh, do that fighting techniques to help you not get punched in the face or help you not get killed, things like that. Uh, that is when the danger is already there and you have to defend yourself, right? And that's what's happening right now. People are being mistreated because of this. These ladies are being mistreated because of the way they're dressing, which is not wrong. Again, which Sam's saying, which is not wrong. They're being mistreated because of that, and they have to defend themselves by saying the word. You're blaming the victim. They're already in the defense mode. But there is a better way than defending ourselves. And we call that self-preservation. So this self-preservation, doing things accordingly so that you will not end up to that dangerous situation where you have to defend yourself. That's the thing there. And when you remind some of that to people, they will say victim blaming. And again, that's the reason why I have issue with this word here, victim blaming, because we easily drop that word just to cancel, or I mean, to cut the conversation without having a deeper conversation on this one, self-preservation, or having to teach other people of the responsibility that they have for yourself, so that at least you won't end up in this situation right here, like that. And if you do such thing, like dressing provocatively, which is not bad actually. You can, again, you can dress whatever way you like, but then you have to know that that action will certainly elicit different reaction, good or bad. Okay, and never ever use that. Just again, don't. I'm not saying that it's not victim blaming. It's not existing, but again, we should not easily drop those words just to cut off conversations. That's my issue with that. And then going locally, I have the opportunity to be able to watch in Baguio City. We have the POSD. Um I forgot what's that stands for. Public Order and Safety Department or Division, I guess. And for the recent and for the past month, they've been receiving a lot of criticisms in the social media because of some actions captured in video camera. Wherein it's like in the United States, wherein there are a lot of police being caught abusing their powers, especially against black people. The POSD and the Baguio City caught in camera abusing their people. I mean, their power against, uh, well, not black people, but all the people of Baguio abusing their. The thing there is they're abusing their powers, and I mean, uh, just that one. You can search, just type POSD and it will come up in Facebook. But then the thing there is, they abuse their power, and it was shown, it was proven. And then the accusation that some of their operatives are arrogant, like they are so powerful. They don't have the art of communication, so to speak, because the job, I guess, of these people is to apprehend, because they're like the enforcers of the ordinances or local laws created by the mayor or created by the city of Baguio. And when they implement the law or the rule, um, they are a little bit over the top, and there are times that they are caught on camera doing that, and there are times that some of the accusations against them are fabricated, but most of the accusations are well founded. And what happened to my. Let me just. Okay. So they had, because every time that something happens, and every time that something happens, and it will be viral in the social media, the POSD, what they do is that a they create a rebuttal on that situation. They create a report or statements uh, stating their side, and that became the battle. It's like when somebody posts negative things against them, they refute that claim, and then it became like a back and forth battle in the social media. And the reason for that one, accordingly, is that because they use the term, if you repeat a lie 1,000 times, it becomes a truth, or it becomes the truth. They use that code in saying that they have to fight back, which is I mean, there's nothing wrong against it, but I think they a little they how do you call this one? They made the wrong step in addressing the problem. Now, the problem here is that the attitude of the operatives being so arrogant and being so disrespectful to the people. That's one of the issue there, and the abuse of authority. And what they try to do is try to refute that in the social media, and at the same time, it looked like they were covering for their peers. And though I'm not accusing them of that, that is what their action. That is what it looks like from a far view. That's what it looks like. And I keep on commenting the word to them, um, extreme ownership. And Mayor Benjamin Magalong talks about it. I heard in one speech he talked about extreme ownership or owning to it. If you're a leader, you have to own to the mistake of your subordinates because it reflects your leadership and you have to own to it and accept it and take a look at, and by that, by accepting your mistake, you are looking at ways that you can solve that mistake because it's your mistake, you can solve it. And for sure there'll be a change that will happen because you can change yourself, you can change the organization that you're in, but you can never change that the outside, right? You can never change outside and then you start going in. You cannot change other people, but you can change yourself. Simple analogies like that, right? And uh, that's the thing that I'm trying to tell them, that instead of wasting your time trying to uh, fight back in the social media, why not take the time to look inside the organization and see what can you do about it. And the funny thing there is that uh, because they're trying to say that they because one concerned citizen stated that uh, their image in the social media is so negative, and it's impossible to say that um, there's no truth behind it, and then refute it. They refute it by saying that there's a research, actually POC. I'm talking about the POC. They refuted it, that they're saying that there's a research that stated that uh, our we are social media illiterate here in the Philippines. And they use that to say that they have to fight back. And it's ironic because if you are fighting back accusations in the social media, you are considered also as a social media illiterate, right? If you know for a fact that people are gullible in the social media and then you are trying to fight back, then I don't know if you're trying to, is that an effective action rather than trying to look at your, rather than keeping quiet and then um, trying to build up what's wrong, trying to find out what's wrong in the organization. You are still trying to focus on defending yourself. That is exhausting, my friend. That is exhausting. So issues will essentially die down or go down if you just ignore it. Of course, don't ignore the negative. You explain your part and then ignore the rest, because mostly it's bashing. It's about it's trolling. But most and foremost, you have to look at what's happening and assess it. And the effective way of assessing it is, like I said, extreme ownership. Own up to it. Own up to the action that was done. And when you own up to that one, you can easily find where the problem is. That's what I'm trying to say here with regards to that POSD matters. Um, uh, my personal view, and this is my personal view, the leadership of the organization is a little bit, and again, my personal view, it's a little bit arrogant. Uh, and he needs to reflect on how he can better or improve the organization and himself, because there are things that I saw that is a little bit is questionable with his leadership. Well, people change, and I know that he will change and he will improve soon. Hoping for that one. And that's my opinion on that matter. Going to the to the MMA shows, MMA sports, and that is the sport that I like the most. I don't know a lot of basketball, I don't know a lot of sports, but MMA, I love this sports. I am also a practitioner of it, of martial arts, and did some fighting a little bit when I was in college. And so I have found this in YouTube about Diego Sanchez, a UFC fighter, and I love the guy. Um, Started watching him when he was still young, way back in the early 2000s. Diego Sanchez, and when he fights, man, it's real. It's a real battle. Um, I love the guy, and then he's a veteran of the sport, and he was scheduled to fight uh, Donald Cerrone, the cowboy in the UFC, who is also a veteran of the sport. And then later on was the news came out that they pulled back. Diego was out of the card because of Joshua Fabio, uh, his coach, his nutritionist, his life coach, his instructor, trainer. I don't know. That according to research, that is what Joshua Fabio is. And I looking at so when I heard about that guy, I started researching him in YouTube, like starting to find a video of him, and then I saw a video of him arguing with the UFC press, like press for UFC, the press, the people handling the press for the UFC, and I heard his argument, and man, it's all about himself. Like that press gathering, that press meeting is about the fighter, of course, because it's UFC. It's about a fighter. It's about Diego. But then after Diego's done talking, he started talking to the guys and then telling things about himself, like that he doesn't like how he was being portrayed in the UFC, and he's trying to. It's like subcontextually, like he's trying to, not directly, but he's trying to tell the people that you should say good things about me. Well, people will talk God, we will talk good things about you if you really did good things, right? If you really did well. And I don't think, I don't know what his contributions are exactly in Diego Sanchez's career. Only um, aside from the fact that well, Diego did after his return, Diego did something good and well in his first fight, but looking at the corner each time after each round, and then when Diego goes back to the corner, it's the advice that that guy, Joshua, will give is a little bit weird, and in my case, it's not technical. It's not. It's not. It's not tactically sound. How like ties on him like be what's that? Crack the coconut something. Well, I don't know if that is a code for them that they practice. Like if he's gonna say Tyson them, and there's a combination for that one that Diego will implement during the fight. I'm not sure about it, but it's not in the case in the case of the viewers. It's not technical. It's not a word from a coach, and then of course you cannot blame the camera for zooming on that because that's their job. It's their job to pick that up so that people can listen. How a coach can motivate a fighter, how a coach can share some technical ideas that the fighter can implement and see the effect of that one on the other fighter. So, and then he's trying to say that the UFC is painting a bad picture of him. Actually, he's the one painting a bad picture of him. In that video, I mean, that video was taken by him, and I don't know if he's the one who posted it, and it really painted a bad picture of him, showing that he has narcissistic personality talking about him. The, the thing here is the press meeting is not about him. And then he's talking about himself, trying to inject himself in that meeting so he could have a good name. I don't know. I really I don't pity the situation that happened to Diego. Um, I really love that guy. I am a fan. But they have a point in the way that, like, they said that if he retires, another issue there is that when they're asking for the medical records of Diego, things like that, and I will not dive more into that because I don't have enough details, and of course I'm not from the United States and I don't know what's happening either. And but then the thing there is that they want the medical benefits for fighters that will retire, and that's a good thing. And I hope they can find a way. The UFC and the fighters, if they have a fighter union, can find a way to uh, compromise and get those things. That is also important for the fighters, right? The fighters did something for the company that made the company grow big, of course, and in return, the UFC also took care of those fighters, and of course, with a better dialogue, they can have an understanding, and for sure that will be solved. But the thing there is, like I said, that coach is like, I mean, John Anik is saying that Diego Sanchez might and is possible to be inducted in the Hall of Fame for the UFC in the modern branch or league, right? But it's like because of what Joshua Fabio did, would I don't know if that will ever happen. I hope it will. That coach is really, um, I hope because I'm looking at Diego when this guy is talking, and it's like uh, there are signs that because they met during the time that Diego is in divorce and he, he's in the lowest part of his life, and maybe that's the reason why he was easily brainwashed by the guy. I saw the guy's video about uh, teaching things, and all I can say is that try walking on the streets of Manila in Tondo in the Philippines during midnight using those techniques that was taught by Joshua Favia. And I mean, I should advise you not to walk on the streets of Tondo, Manila. I mean, I'm not saying that Tondo is bad, but in the streets of whatever country, do not walk alone if you have those skills being taught by Joshua Favia. What I'm trying to say is that it will never work. It will never work. I'm telling you. Those techniques of dodging the bag, I mean, rolling and whatever those things he's doing will never work. I hope Diego will come out of this and will try to, somebody will help him realize that that guy is dragging him down. Well, it's doing well. I hope that Joshua guy will also do well. But the thing there is, again, uh, a video of him trying to talk to Matt Serra that is so funny. I don't know, and it shows his real personality. And I hope that Diego will realize this, and because Diego is a good fighter, and with the right coaching, maybe if it didn't work with this former coach, can try other coaches, and he can come out on top again. That's possible. A lot of people have done it. So I hope I hope them the best, and pray that Diego will come out well and good in the situation. And moving on to our local MMA scene, we have the ONE FC, and last 2 weeks ago, I guess, Folayang fought, and was played, or I mean, aired in the TNT, United States American Television, and unfortunately, he lost. And again, here's the thing here with people who are not in mixed martial arts or who are just a casual fan, like a lot of times when Folayang won the championship way back in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, 2016, when he won against Shinya Aoki. And for those who doesn't know, Shinya Aoki is a veteran of the sport. He's been fighting like for a long time. Like when I was still a kid, I'm 34 now. He was already fighting like 1996, 19, things like that. Those days, the early days of mixed martial arts, is already there. He's already a legend and he's known for submissions. And Folayang made it work and he took the championship belt from him. And everybody in the Philippines is like saying, I'm a Pinoy, right? They're so proud. They want to connect their names to that person, like, Filipino tayo, we're like this. Oh yeah, Pinoy. And then when he lost, somebody, then here comes again. Most of the people turn around. It's like 360. It's a 360 turn around. They're like, oh my goodness, that guy is weak. That guy sucks. Talo na naman. Wala talaga. Wala. Talo talaga. And forgetting the things that Eduard has done in the local MMA scene. Now, let me tell you guys, and I would love to have him in my podcast. And if I have time to go to his place, and I want him and I to speak in our language, so he can, so I can ask things, and so the explanation would be better, I guess. And because I'm having a hard time speaking English right now, so having an English conversation with him would be a little bit difficult too. Edward was a pioneer. He's been in the sport for quite a long time. During the early days of MMA here in the Philippines, we have the URCC, and that is Universal Reality Combat, URCC Championship. Yeah, and he fought there with Coach Mark Sangyao, and they were one of the champions of that organization way back. After that, he went to martial combat, winning some games representing the Philippines, and went to ONE FC. This team, so they are the pioneers. Him and Coach Mark are the pioneers, and then here comes other people from the Team Lakay, and then the Team Lakay was organized so they can have a fighting team to help them go, and then most of the fighters from Team Lakay are dominating the local scene. I'm telling you, URCC, they are dominating that scene. Fearless, there is in way back in 2010, we have what we're calling the Fearless Fighting Championship, FFC. And again, Team Lakay is right there dominating the scene. And other organizations, they're the PXC and Brave MMA, they are right there dominating. At least one of them is dominating a weight category. And then here comes ONE FC. So ONE FC, we have our very first champion there, very first Filipino champion, I should say, came from Team Lakay in the person of Honorio Banario. So if you say that Team Lakay is not evolving because they are easily being submitted, something like that, those are the comments I'm reading. Now, you have to think twice. Do you say that Team Lakay is not good at submissions? They've been dominating the local MMA scene, not because of striking, but they can also submit people. The thing here is this: now that they're in the international scene, they are dealing with high caliber athlete. When they're dealing with high caliber athlete, that also means that they are also a high caliber athlete. And it so happened that that athlete was better than our Team Lakay guys in that night. Things like that. And people are saying that they are not improving in their ground skills. Oh, come on, man. Look at the way those youngsters, I mean, Joshua Pasio, Lito Adiwang, submit people. Don't you think that is improvement? That is improvement. And don't you think that Edward can do that? That is the question. So you say that they're not improving. Don't you think that Edward can submit people also? He can, you know? And we have to remember this. Um, you know, Shinya Aoki. You have to, that is, the loss of Edward during that night is a testament to how good Shinya is. Edward is good, but Shinya's specialty is that thing, submission. And do you think Edward is done of his fighting career? I don't think so. Well, it's only him that can say if he's done or not. Uh, if you look at the international scene of mixed martial arts, Randy Couture was still fighting when he was 45 years old. He became the oldest UFC champion. 45 years old. He beat Team Sylvia, knocked him down, right? And maybe Edward can also do that one. He can fight until he's 45 if he wants to. That's really his decision. Okay. Now, I hope the best for the Team Lakay. I mean, and just to say, if you say that Team Lakay is not improving, that they have very poor ground skills, here's I can tell you: go work on their gym, go have a workout with them, and find it the hard way. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay, and I hope well for the our local MMA heroes, and I know they'll come back fighting, and they'll come back on top sooner or later. And before I close this podcast, I want to share this inspirational sharing I learned from Jocko Willink. It's about the word good. So there was, according to him, this story is about a commander in the Navy SEALs, and shared this to him about when their team was beaten in an exercise. They tried to report it to the commander. The commander will say, "Good." And then, "Why do you say good?" And then he answered back, "Why do you say good? And we lost." Then the other guy replied, "Good, because we'll be having time to improve ourselves. We'll have time to practice. And next time we'll beat them." And the principle that I'm trying to share is that everything that happens to us will bring something good for us. Say, for example, going back to mixed martial arts, Eduard Folayang lost the fight. Good. He'll have more time to practice, he'll learn from his mistakes, and he'll come back stronger. You lost your job. Good. It's an additional experience that you will cherish for the rest of your life. Right? Something happened, it's bad to you. Always take at the good side of it. And by looking at the good side of it, you'll get back stronger, you'll improve yourself, and you'll become good. Something like that. Let us try to train ourselves. Bad thing happened. You say good. Just take a look at the good things. It's good. Always say it's good. I cannot explain that. I cannot have the best way that Jaco explained it, but it's a principle that I learned, and I hope we can share it also with you guys. Things that happen to us, always look at the good side, whether it's whether the bad thing, what happened to you is a bad thing, it's always good. Find a reason why it's good. Work on it, and you'll become good. That's it for my podcast for this week, and I'll be seeing you again next week. This is El Maestro Speaks podcast, and thank you for listening.